Hello again, nerds. We are doing another reaction video. This time, it's to one of my ultimate favorite bands. I love Atreyu. I think these guys are amazing. Heart kind of broke a little bit when Alex left the band a few weeks back. If you didn't know that happened, then you should be joining me on The Week in Nerddom. We do a news video twice a week. Well, for the next couple weeks, it'll be twice a week, and then we're going to be taking our little break and coming back in January full force. But during the second half of November through December and the first bit of January, we will still be doing a news show, just be rumors, though. In the regular show, the first section of every show is music news. And so we talked about, there was speculation at first, and then there was confirmation that it actually happened, that Alex Varkatzis, who was the aggressive vocalist for Atreyu, because they've always had Brandon Saller as their harmonic vocalist and drummer. Now he's no longer the drummer. He's just doing the melodic parts. A little bit of the aggressive stuff, but really Mark McKnight, I believe is his last name, the bass player, is going to be handling the aggressive vocals. That was a lot of information before the intro, but here's the intro. Okay, so I guess I kind of have shown my hand a little bit because I just talked about how I love Atreyu, and this first section is usually dedicated to, sorry, I keep going out of focus, usually dedicated to my history with the band or the history of the band. We've done a couple of Atreyu videos at this point, so I feel like that's a little redundant. If you want a little bit more of the history of the band, then you can go see some of those other videos. Well, like I said, just a few weeks ago, they lost their, I would venture the title of primary vocalist for Alex, because he did more than just the aggressive vocals. He also did some harmonic melodic stuff with Brandon. Yeah, it's been kind of a whirlwind the last month or so. Again, love this band. I actually got to cover the second to last time that they were in Colorado. I did not, unfortunately, get the opportunity to do it last time they were here because it was a big festival, and that requires a lot more media credentials than I have. But still pretty awesome. I hope to get an interview with the guys, any one of the guys. I've been such a fan of these guys for so long that, honestly, I don't have to talk to, like, Brandon. I would love to talk to any single one of them, and it'd be awesome. Anyway, I'm rambling. So this is the first song that they have done without Alex on lead vocal. So I'm very interested to see what happens. I will be playing with the bass guitar to see if we can kind of figure out a little bit of the music going on here. The assumption was that the reason Alex left was because they were taking a turn towards the lighter, though from what I've heard about this song, that's not the case. So I guess that kind of, well, before we get into expectations, we got one more little piece to get out of the way. Before we get any further into this video, let's get a couple of things out of the way. First, if you want to listen to this song or watch this video in whole without my commentary, then go do that. This is not the place for that. This is a reaction and analysis video. We're here for a conversation, not for a watch party. I'm going to be stopping this video, talking over certain parts, and replaying certain parts, so get used to it. Second, my analysis is my opinion. My opinion comes from a place of knowledge. I have over 30 years of musical training and experience, 20 years as a professional musician and producer, and almost 10 years as a video producer and director. I know what I'm talking about. All that being said, we will be discussing the performance of the song by the musicians, production of the song by the producer, and production of the video, should that apply, by the director and anyone else involved. Now, I return you to your regularly scheduled reaction video. Thanks, nerds. Okay, so expectations for the song and video. Let's get the video stuff out of the way at first. I really don't expect a whole lot out of the production of the video because I feel like the idea behind this was to get it out as fast as possible. So I would be surprised if it's anything more than just like a pretty simple performance video. So video production out of the way. As far as the song is concerned, like I said, I did hear that this got not really aggressive, but stayed Atreyu levels of aggressive, I guess is probably a good way to put it. So I do expect there to be a pretty good chuggy riff involved here. If it's the main riff, that would be likely, though I don't know if I necessarily expect it to be the main riff right now. I also expect there to be pretty simple song structure. They have kind of experimented with that in the past, so you do have some pretty long songs from early Atreyu, but since Lead Cell's Paper Anchor, it's been pretty formulaic as far as song structure goes, and looking at the thumbnail right now, 2 minutes and 21 seconds, probably going to be really formulaic song structure wise. That also kind of makes me think that it's going to be a little bit more punk in the energy and a little less of the metal side of it. So still aggressive, just not quite as heavy as they may have put out before. But again, I very well could be wrong. These are just my expectations. I also expect the new drummer, Kyle Rosa, I believe is his name. I expect the new drummer to, I don't know, I feel like he's going to want to show off a little bit, but I think that's going to be more in subtlety rather than in big kind of show of talent kind of thing, which is a good thing. Subtlety is always appreciated. And, uh-oh. Aha. So yeah, I think that's all I got for expectations. As far as audio production, let's touch on that real quick. Even Atreyu's early stuff was pretty good as far as audio production goes, and since they've been doing this for so long, I feel like it's gonna be pretty top notch. I expect them to have rock and roll bass syndrome, where because Mark is not the greatest bass player, he's a great dude. I've met him. He's honestly a really awesome guy, and he is talented enough to hold down the bottom end to an extent. He's just not Ryan Martini. He's not John Entwistle by any means. So it's twofold. Rock bass syndrome is going to be twofold because Mark's playing, now that he's got to also focus on vocals, is going to be very much just an extension of the guitar and not really a standout instrument on its own. And also I expect the production to be along that same line where, yeah, it kind of sounds like there might be a bass there, but really it could just be the low string of the guitar making that noise. So production otherwise should be great. I'm really interested to hear what they have what they've done to the new drummer's sound. So all of that being said, that's a really long intro before we get into it. That's like 8.5 minutes. I'm sorry, nerds. But let's get into the song. Where is it? There it is. Aha, chuggy riff. Oh my. Oh. Can you feel your fucking soul? Well, this is not bass. Wow. I can't even. We're gonna sit back and enjoy this, I think. Wow. This is definitely playing with structure form. What is going on? This is so cool. Wow, okay, all right, we got to stop this or I'm going to get a strike, but wow. Okay, so there is a lot to process here. Vocally, performance-wise, let's start with performance and then we'll get to the production of it. The video production, like I was anticipating, is basically just a performance video. There's a couple of B-roll things thrown in there that they very likely found on some sort of B-roll site. So it's kind of, that is what it is. But vocal performance. We'll get into vocal performance, we'll get into instrument performance, and then we'll get into production. So vocal performance, man, Brandon is coming out swinging. Wow, I did not expect, like I expected to like this, but not this much. He's not doing a whole lot as far as breaking the expectation of his voice. Like he has a pretty definitive sound. He's not getting outside of his range at all. He's right in the sweet spot for his voice. But it sounds like he's loaning a little bit of the aggressive vocal to it as well. Obviously, that's mostly Mark, as we saw for that one like real quick clip of Mark coming back in with that vocal by himself. But that is, I'm really digging the orchestration, the arrangement. That's what I was looking for. The arrangement of this song, because even though it's 2 minutes and 20 seconds long, it's not just going straight verse, chorus, verse. We've already seen at least one bridge, so we went. We'll get into. We'll probably have to go back and re-listen to it to get the structure. But wow, this is 2 minutes of yes, please. All right, and then so instrument performance is about what you would expect, and a little bit more than that too. So we have the one kind of moshy riff that is our main riff, so yes please, thank you very much. But we also got that the like a breakdown riff for the chorus. Again, we'll get into structure again when we start the video over, but so I was not expecting there to be that much presence on the bass. It does still have a little bit of rock and roll bass syndrome. There is definitely a taste of that in there, but not as much as I was expecting. I was expecting the audio for the bass to be pretty anemic, because that is the way rock and roll bass is usually EQ'd in something like this. That's not what's going on. All right, so I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, because we're going to start this over. Where's my mouse? There we go. All right, so listen here. The guitar, the production of this is done very well, so you can hear Mark's bass separate from the guitar. That's due in large part to Dan and Travis knowing their sonics of their instrument very well. So the guitar is sitting in the middle of what sounds like a fairly scooped bass, which is how I would do it. How I've done it since school, actually. So that part's really awesome. It brings out the bass, but there's also just a touch of distortion on the bass, which helps it pop out as well. So listen for that. There, it's the verse with the breakdown riff. Vocally here, we have a very good blend of both Brandon and Mark, because it's kind of hard to differentiate between the two of them, because they're both equally as high in the mix as the other. Where am I? There we go. Equally as high in the mix as each other. which makes it, and they have similar registers. So Mark's scream and Brandon's sing are kind of in the same sonic register. So it makes it hard to pull them apart, which if it was the same person doing two different voices, it would be a little bit easier than this. But they just kind of lock, and that sounds so good. From the bodies of the dead, tell me, are you tired of the rust? Can you feel your fucking soul? Carry the fire. So that, now we're going from the intro into the verse into what is presumably a chorus. It could be a bridge. Well, I think it's a chorus though. But we've got, in 27 seconds, we've got 3 sections of a song: an intro, verse, and a chorus. So that, yeah, very, very much playing with the form. And there's that bass. There is that bass coming in. So that gives you, I mean, that's not a distorted part, so it's not the same tone that he's using in the verses, but it still kind of gives you a better sonic idea of what you're listening for when you're listening to those stringed instruments. Who's gonna save our souls? Save us! Let's go back. I want to listen to that snare again, because that snare sounds really well done. Right there. So that last hit, that last punctuation with the snare kind of gives it a it honestly, so sonically it sounds like you're in the studio with him, which means good mic placement, very, very good on you. But also I don't know, he's not Jay Weinberg. He's not beating the crap out of his snare, so you've got good even tone. The newest Slipknot record is the one that Jay Weinberg is playing on, is the best example of, man, he beats his snare, and it kind of has more of a pow kind of tone to it. This is a really flat, even, very good on the control, which is appropriate for a band like Atreyu, and it just sounds so good. Listen to that. That is not quite Queen level of harmonies, but man, are they trying. I'm digging this. I don't even know if there's a note right here, but I just wanted to savor this moment real quick. Sending that everything is gonna be alright. These are your last days now. Will you stay down or will you rise up? Yeah, back into the chorus. That's Travis, by the way, in the spotlight. And now we're into a bridge, a melodic bridge, into a little taste of a solo. Wow. All right. So here's an issue. Here's a small issue that I'm taking with the way the drums are EQ'd, at least. So let's go back to that section. So this is snare and floor tom. So these are two pretty punctual, that's not the word I'm looking for. These are two pretty good punctuation marks. The floor tom, I feel like they did a pretty good job of rounding off the sound so it doesn't last too long. But I feel like in so doing, they also brought it down too low in the mix. There's a way to set your noise gate so that you can cut off that excess tone without killing the volume on the instrument. I feel like the way I would have done this, at the very least, is I would have had the floor tom, at least in just this section, because that's what he's using for the punctuation of the moment, right? Keep the floor tom and the snare volume pretty even. Snare's going to cut through because it's a higher pitch anyway, but if you keep their gain at roughly the same level, it becomes a little bit more impactful. So let's listen to that again. Okay, so no, I take that back. They did that. They just have both of them too low in the mix because, I don't know, it sounds like the resonance volume on that floor tom is a little too much. So maybe they don't have their gate set right. Or the compression is wrong. There's an issue here that's not sitting right in my ears. I feel like there's a better way to have mixed that. The performance of this moment is beautiful, and Brandon's voice soaring over this punctuated, very rhythmic staccato section is fantastic and effective, but it's undermined ever so slightly by the less than perfect production, I guess is a good way to say that. See, now the snare's back right where it needs to be, so it just doesn't feel right. Another solo. Oh, yeah. Oh, this is Travis, too. Not even Big Dan. Not even really a solo. Wow. Wow. Yeah. Just that was that was much better than I anticipated. Like, much better than I anticipated. And I've spent so much time on this. I'm not going to get to do another video tonight, but I will get more done tomorrow. Oh, man. Okay, so as far as we know right now, that is a standalone single. There is not an album attached to it. Actually, let's go to their video notes or the video description and see. You can't see this, but I am going through. Music video by Atreyu, performed Save Us, Spine Farm, Vivo. No album attached to this so far. Wow. This is so good. I honestly, again, I expected when I initially heard the news that Alex was leaving the band, I expected them to be taking a more radio-friendly turn. Not that this isn't radio-friendly. That's the other part that I've always really appreciated about Atreyu is that they're as aggressive as they are. Sorry, I'm getting the bass out. Oh. As aggressive as they are, they still have this element of being pretty radio-friendly. So, I don't know. I'm still in awe from this video, man. I'm gonna stop, and we're gonna just stop the video because I can't go anywhere else with this. That I'm gonna have to listen to it a bunch more and process it some more. That's all I've got. Thank you very much for joining me, nerds. What did you think about this new Atreyu video? Are you a fan of the band before this? If not, does this change your opinion? Have you ever heard of these guys before? All of these things we need to talk about down in the comments section. But there are right now, as I pushed a button, there are now boxes below my face that should be filling up with other things that you can go check out on the channel. Like I said at the beginning of this, I do a twice weekly. Normally it's twice weekly. At the end of the year, it kind of starts to fade away for a bit because I work on the next season. But twice weekly nerd news video where we do talk about music news. So stay in touch with the nerd news right here with Generally Nerdy, or, you can see all of the other reaction videos I've done. GenerallyNerdy.net is the website. Patreon.com/GenerallyNerdy is the place to go support and do all of the things, and go check it out. I do write written movie reviews and stuff for the website, so you can go read those. Thank you very much, nerds. Again, I'm so excited about this new Atreyu music. And before I go, always, I got to push a button. Always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.